Dallas, Texas, the site of the 2022 Generation Adidas Cup, the premier youth championship in North America. These players ready to get out on the field as the Colorado Rapids U15 face off against Pumas from Mexico. David Goss and Bobby Warshaw, the former FC Dallas player himself, here for this one. And Bobby, how good it feels to be back at the GA Cup.
After 2 years away, and we are back for the clubs, for the coaches, and most importantly for the players. It's an incredible opportunity to bring these competitors together, to play on these fields. Gorgeous weather today. It's amazing to be here.
Day one of a week of competition. And let's take a look at the competition rules. 4 teams per group, 3 group stage games. The winners will go through to the next round, the best second place teams as well, which means, Bobby, not a lot of room for error for these young squads.
Especially given the competition that we see on the field today in MLS versus Liga MX's matchup, and we know what it means at the professional level, and that starts here. The ability to learn how to play against these types of teams, the ability to win against these types of teams. What we see in Kickoff Champions League is groomed here at the under 15 level.
Let's take a look at starting lineups, and let's start with the Liga MX side, Pumas, coming in from Mexico City.
And we expect them, David, to attack in a 4-4-2 diamond with 4 tight center midfielders and 2 strikers, and then flatten out that midfield to defend in a 4-4-2. And the star man we're excited to watch today is one of those 2 strikers, number 344, Austin Vasquez.
Vasquez looking to be a key for his team. On the flip side, for the Colorado Rapids, a lot of young, exciting players in this group.
It is, in a little bit different shape than their opponent, Pumas. We expect the Rapids to attack in a 4-2-3-1, defend something closer to a 4-3-3. 2 attackers to keep an eye on. Carlos De Luna, the heart of the team, even though he'll be in the number 10 position, he's really the fearless one. And then out wide, Amos Gla, number 54, incredibly talented young attacker.
But our star player for this one is a young man in midfield, Max Simpson, number 64.
The do-everything player for this Rapids team, leads the team in goals. He'll dominate the midfield and really has been known to score some fantastic goals in big moments as well.
We are ready to get kicked off here at Field 4 in Frisco, Texas. David Goss and Bobby Warshaw with you for the group stage at the U15 level of the Generation Adidas Cup. And we are rolling here. Pumas in their home white kits and white shorts going right to left on your monitors, and the Colorado Rapids in their burgundy tops and classic blue shorts going left to right. Group A action. These 2 teams paired up with New York Red Bulls and a River Plate, who we will see later tonight. And Bobby, 30-minute halves, 60-minute games, so these teams are going to get right into it.
And we already saw what happened in the first game, the first Liga MX versus MLS match of the tournament. Monterrey winning, putting Mexico up 1-0 so far, and these kids and coaches will know that. They know that they are playing something bigger than themselves, yes, for their club, but also for their league and their country, and it adds a little extra special energy to today's matchup.
Pumas will come into this half with a ton of confidence. You said that after the win from Monterrey, and of course, for all of these teams playing and qualifying, the Liga MX sides also had to qualify for this competition. So not just teams from south of the border, not just teams from soccer-crazed Mexico, but the elite young players in Mexico.
Yeah, it's the best of the best from these 2 leagues. And anybody who's ever seen the energy that comes with CONCACAF Champions League, Mexico and Liga MX have dominated it so far. In MLS, one of the ways they hope to change that is ingraining the understanding of victory and success at these younger ages, so that when you are 15, 16, 17, you know what it's like to beat a team from Liga MX, so that when you are a professional player, it's your natural order.
Pena back to Danielle, over to Ocampo. As Pumas looking comfortable here in the opening minutes of this one. Good turn and attack here from Vasquez. And then Maddox Brown will let that one roll out. Brown pairing Bruce Quinones at center back. Leonardo Medina getting the start in goal. Bobby, he has split time throughout the season in goal with Diego Arriola, who's one of the bright young prospects in this academy as well. So a great opportunity for Medina to show that he can play at this level here.
It is, and it's hard when you're a goalkeeper to swap games. But Medina's the one that's entrusted today, and we saw last game with the big performance from Abraham how important the goalkeepers can be in Generation Adidas Cup.
Chance to attack now. Ocampo getting forward, and Medina gets his hands on that one. And Immediately Colorado looking to play back the other way. The danger man DeLuna gets it out wide. Ceballos Reyes lets that one roll out for a Colorado throw-in. And you see here Derek Rojas getting forward and getting that cross in. Bobby, already we've seen a much different style of game here, a much more open game than what we saw really at any point in our opener when Monterrey knocked off TFC U15s 2-0.
Yeah, it's particularly important for a team like Colorado, who the word that they like to use about their team's game model, their style, is all about control. How can you control what the other team does when you don't have the ball, and how can you control where they are when you do have the ball? So how can they find that order and control even in a little bit of a chaotic game that we've seen through these first few minutes?
Battle, good work here. Ocampo getting forward. Hurls his cross to the far post. The wind whipping it around. Headed away by Quinones. And now Colorado trying to push their lines up. Ball clipped through the middle. Danger immediately, and Medina forced down to make the save on Rojas.
I think the key moment of that play, David, was at the back post when Pena, with the ball floating in the wind, rises up and still wins it to keep it alive. You would have expected that to go beyond him and out for a throw-in, but he kept it alive and it led to a chance.
DeLuna now in possession. Not able to link up with a teammate. Excuse me, that was Flores Bravo along that far side, the big center forward. Flores Bravo now putting on the pressure. Pumas looking to build through it, and they're able to break through for a moment. The wind's starting to pick up here in this first half. It's coming from behind the Rapids goal across the field as Amos Gala now is down behind the play. This big clearance. Chance for Ceballos Reyes to get on top of it. He'll go out and he'll win the throw-in for the Rapids. It looks like Medina in goal, trying to use that wind, has been played long and direct every time he's touched the ball.
Especially early in your first game, there's an understanding that will come from the coaches in the locker room to say, let's just try and impose our style in the first 15 minutes. We don't expect it to be beautiful, but let's hang on. Let's find a way to make sure it's played on our terms. And I think that's what we see when we see those longer balls. Get it forward, let's get around it with a net and try and counter press. At least for the first 15 before it turns into a little bit more of a soccer game.
Joseph Gonzalez coming forward to take this throw from his left back position. Rapids looking to make something happen down the wing. Ceballos Reyes not able to keep it under control. Pumas turning it over up the middle of the field, but now an opportunity to spray it wide. Pena. Immediately the feet of the forward. And the Rapids looking to do the same. Some poise there from Philip Pack. Pack playing deeper in midfield alongside Max Simpson. Behind Carlos de Luna, the attacking number 10 in this side. Bobby, one of the things we see, you mentioned from the first team down, and one of the principles here come from Robin Fraser's group, is those rotations in central midfield. The ability for all three players to really step into the attack.
Yeah, the Rapids are a good example, David, of the way a lot of clubs approach the integration from their academy into their first team these days.
DeLuna trying to get a shot away. He does. Scuffs it just wide.
And that's the balance between ideas and formations. And we often hear from academy directors or first team coaches is that we want the ideas to be the same from the star player on the first team down to a player at the under 12s. We want the terminology and the words to be the same. But the more specific interpretations of that come down to the coach, and that includes maybe a couple of the rotations. The formation, as we're seeing, the first team for the Rapids often play with three center backs. Today, so far, we've seen something that mostly resembles a standard back four. But we'll see similar ideas with maybe a little bit more of adjustments for formation from the coaches this week.
Simpson trying to head it forward. De Leon stepping out of the back line, wins the free kick. Wesley Collins, our head official for this one, is Amos Glah nipping in, able to pick that ball up, earns the foul. And the first free kick of the game coming up for the Rapids.
That's exactly what the Rapids will want to do in their pressing phase. Wait for a slower pass that they can jump on, close the ball. They're able to get to it and try and transition quickly.
Glah, one of the newer, sorry.
I was going to say, and also just very fortunate from Perez not to get a yellow card there.
Yeah.
He tries to win it. If he doesn't win it, Glah's in. Usually, I think we would usually see a card.
Glah, one of the newer recruits to this Rapids Academy. Player originally out of Liberia that the Rapids staff is very excited about. Simpson curls this one in. Knocked out at the far post. And it'll roll out an inviting ball from Max Simpson.
That's the ball you want to see. We talked about him at the top of the show, and really on his first touch, you can see the quality of the left foot. Curled with the right weight, the right height, into an almost perfect spot where if somebody were to get a touch, great opportunity for a goal.
Beautiful touch, beautiful through ball there.
Let's go.
Take a second look at that free kick, Bobby. Just a little bit too far in the end, but as you said, that's the ball you want to play.
That's the ball. Sometimes you play a ball short that people do get to in a worse opportunity. That time, if they had gotten there, they're on the back post, and it's a high expected goals number from there.
Andrew Butler, the head coach for this Rapids side, will be happy with that opportunity, but now his team needs to defend. First corner kick opportunity coming. Jefferson Barojas. It'll be his left-footed service, the number 10 in this diamond. He's been active so far in this game. Barojas drives it to the far post. It bounces. Flores Bravo, the center forward, came back to help defend. And a throw in. Only 30-minute halves here. The GA Cup as that shot goes wide in the group stage. 7 subs allowed for these coaches and 3 different moments from the second half on. A lot of ability to change the game for these coaches.
And here we see a build-out moment, David. Pumas in their 4-4-2 trying to press high. Looks like they're going to step on the first pass. Colorado had originally set up to play short, ends up going long. Into the striker, Pumas gathers the second ball. Just an interesting moment to see the mentality of the teams. Was Colorado going to try and build out? On their first goal kick, they played it long and look for the second ball.
Haig, the goalkeeper, put under some pressure. He clips this one up towards midfield. Austin Vasquez couldn't get a touch to it. Barojas in possession. Barojas plays it too long, and Brown will go all the way back to Medina. Medina going long immediately. Glah and Ceballos Reyes switching sides here for the Rapids. Gonzalez up the line.
You can already see how in the attack, number 56, Carlos De Luna, is the one that does the unlocking. Everyone else moves, and De Luna reads their little patterns and figures out where the space is, and it's on him to exploit it. We often see this from the star central attacking midfielders in MLS, a player like Nico Ladero, and it's a big burden of responsibility and an exciting one to give to a player of this age.
Sanchez here. He's able to beat the first man. Pressure on him in the box. The tackle by Quinones and cleared away.
You know what that was? That was a goalkeeper block technique there from Quinones. Beautiful. You don't often see that, but it worked in that moment.
And we saw in our first game a penalty kick given away by TFC in almost the exact same moment. And Quinones able to keep himself out of the referee's book there. Bit of a high boot, and the whistle goes, but what a creative tackle, as you said, from Quinones.
Yeah, he goes down almost as if he's a goalkeeper, taking a 1v1 from a tight area, drops that knee for the tackle, and it worked. I wonder if that's something that they've talked about, or if they worked on it, or it was totally reactionary.
Come on, that's Marcelo Balboa right there. That's Cello himself.
That's exactly right. You're right.
The legend, a part of the Rapids Academy now. It's one of the cool things we have seen as the academy system has built out, as MLS has grown, as the game has grown, as second generation players now coaching these new generations.
And here we see Pumas building, Colorado keeping them in front. And the second Pumas goes backward to Q for the Rapids to press, which is what we've seen, pushing them back to their goalie, forcing the long ball. But so far, David, in this game, which has been mostly about balls into the second layer, these longer passes in the air that land just before the opponent's defense, Pumas has gotten the better of those second balls, and that's made the difference on who's had the control so far.
Corner kick coming here. Corner kick coming here for...
Again, this opening came from getting on the end of a second ball after a second layer pass. As soon as they win that, they get control and they try and attack the space wide, but a nice recovery from the Rapids.
Their corner kick will come in for Pumas. Pumas, one of the giants of Liga MX.
And if we look in the box, David, we see the Rapids mostly in a man-to-man. One player in a zone who's pulled out for the short corner, and then man-to-man all at the PK spot.
Pack clears that one away. Rojas takes the throw in quickly, and you could just see number 352 here on the ball, Barajas. He's seeing things a half second quicker. You could see why, for a guy of his size, he's able to be dominant on the field.
The soccer perception is evident. Tidy on the ball, but he also is clearly seeing things, as you said, a picture faster. One thing coaches will often talk about is how many pictures can you take and how much can you anticipate what the next picture will look like. And it's clear that Barajas is already thinking about that next picture.
A free kick here. It's around midfield for the Rapids. Colorado Rapids Academy starting to produce high-level players. Sam Vines and Cole Bassett both headed over to Europe. Darian Yappi, Oliver Lazaraz in the first team picture right now. And, of course, MLS Next Pro bringing a whole new element to their group and the young players and their ability to get minutes and get time. But they were part of a good season for the Colorado Switchbacks. A ton of these young players last year, homegrown signings, academy loanees, and this is the next generation that they're excited to see come through.
Bassett, one of my favorite young Americans to watch in the world. Good with both feet, so calm on the ball. You can see as he gets a little older, he's developing more power and acceleration.
He's a player who likes to be in the center of the game, but also when he's not, he finds the right moments. He pops up in the box. He's able to score some huge goals for the Rapids.
And one thing I really appreciated about what the Rapids did and what Robin Fraser helped with was that I'm not sure that Bassett was necessarily prepared to help the first team when he started to play, but they believed in him. They gave him room to grow and develop and mature even as he's already with the first team, and it turns out to be a player that helps him finish first in the Western Conference and then move on a multi-million-dollar deal to Europe.
And Bobby, one of the things we sit here today, the U15s, tomorrow we'll have the U17s. And as you mentioned with Cole Bassett, he was 16 when he made his MLS debut. These players are so close to that pro level. It won't take long for the guys you're seeing right here to you'll start seeing on your TVs on the weekend.
And this might be the best representation of how ready they are to play in MLS, because these are the games with the most pressure. These are the games with the most consequence. So it's not necessarily about the soccer when you have a player jump from a youth team to a professional team. It's how do they do with 50,000 people, hundreds of thousands of people watching on TV, and other people's lives and careers on the line? How do they deal with that pressure? And GA Cup doesn't do that completely, but it's the closest they can get by the age of 14 or 15.
Pena coming in field. Vasquez will push it wide. Cross play to the top of the box, cleared by Brown. And it'll roll out for a throw-in in for Pumas on the flip side. You're seeing a team in the CCL semifinal that's built through the academy. They're not the big spending clubs of Club America or Tigres or Monterrey. These players are the future of their success at the Liga MX level.
They are, and to put my personal story into this really quickly, the first international team I ever played, David, when I was 15 was Pumas.
How'd you do?
We lost. at the Schwann's Cup in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah,
for the old school American soccer fans out there.
I think it still exists.
A great experience. It was one of the precursors to something like Generation Adidas Cup.
A big ball switched out wide. Glock comes in and takes it away from Pena and wins the throw-in for his team.
Love how he made contact there first. Loose ball, puts his shoulder and wins it. A nice little move from a younger player.
Glock standing out early here. One of the players that both the coaching staff keyed in on for us, as well as the match evaluators over the course of qualifying and in this tournament. We've got a stable of recently retired players, some legends from across MLS that are getting their chance to dip their hand in a little as scouts, work a little on the coaching side after their playing careers, and that's a big part of this entire MLS Next, MLS Academy, Generation Adidas Cup setup, is keeping the great soccer minds in the game. Got guys like Bradley Rhett Phillips and Chris Seitz here this weekend to watch games and sort of get their pulse on the next level and the next jobs for them. DeLuna in open space. Plays it out wide. Ceballos Reyes now back into the feet of DeLuna. DeLuna looking for space, and his left-footed shot goes wide.
And you could see from 40 yards, he almost went for it, huh? He almost picked up his head and tried to go over the goalkeeper, opted not to, got a little closer. I think right there, the right shot too would have been the chip to the far post as the goalkeeper comes, but a nice transition from the Rapids.
Colorado Rapids U15s facing off against UNAM Pumas out of Mexico City. Group A U15 action here on day one of the Generation Adidas Cup. Dave Goss and Bobby Warshaw with you here. Already seen Monterrey Rayados get a 2-0 win over TFC U15s in the opening game of the day. We've got two more international MLS competitions coming up later today. The other two teams in Group A, River Plate and Red Bulls, will be our nightcap at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on Twitch and MLS YouTube. And we'll have every game at Generation Adidas Cup for you. We've also got LAFC coming up after this one.
The Rapids are a little...
Chivas.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dave. I'm saying the Rapids are a little bit stretched. It's the second time they've pressed, and they haven't fully engaged. And the last time it happened, we saw the Pumas broke through in two passes and create a little bit of danger, and we're seeing it. Here up top is Flores Bravo, 20 yards ahead of midfield, and behind him, it's really about 50 yards to the defenders. So something the Rapids need to fix if they want to continue to press a little higher. Here we see the Pumas defensive midfielder getting on the ball free, driving forward as the Rapids engage. If they're deciding to press, they need to really start to accelerate and put pressure on the ball.
Vasquez on the ball. The star striker looking for some space. Closed down by Brown. Vasquez gets to his right foot. The cross played in. Barojas misses. Second chance. Medina with the save.
The cheekiness from Vasquez on that. Drops his shoulder. Not once, but twice to finally beat the player. And then, when he gets to the end line, he finds space. That little ball across the goal, lifts it up, finds the attacker. Very well done by Pumas, but if you're the Rapids, you have to take that warning sign. Here we see it again. They play into the second layer, but 60 yards separate front to back. Pumas has already shown their ability to exploit that space. The Rapids need to take this lesson and close their lines.
Baba, we've already talked a little bit about the experience of playing international teams, which is new. I wonder for these Rapids players, though, as Pumas now goes in transition. Slide tackle misses. Vasquez back in possession. Looking to make something happen once again. Pushes it out wide. Another cross coming in. Medina backtracking, gets a finger to it. Still alive for Rojas.
Fantastic punch from Medina, backing up to still get a hand on that.
Pena with the cross. Knocked down. Pumas starting to pour the pressure on late in this first half. And that one into the arms of Medina.
And this is where the Rapids need one of their center backs, either Brown or Quinones, to say we need to squeeze space. Because we can see on opportunities like this, again, such a great punch from Medina to stretch out and get enough of a hand on that to get it out of danger. But the Rapids need someone, and it's scary. Right now, you're You're taking pressure. You're under threat. Who's the one to say, we actually need to step forward, not retreat and recover, step forward and close our lines? It's a big maturity moment from these two center backs.
Luna looking direct over the top to Flores Bravo. And the Rapids now under pressure as Pumas. Time to be on the ball.
I think what we're seeing right now, David, is the proverbial boxer who's just been knocked down twice and he's wobbling a little bit from the Rapids. Tons of space between their lines, struggling to get any real pressure on the ball, struggling to block lanes when they don't have pressure. They're running out of answers right now. It helps when Pumas passes you straight the ball.
Claw now in possession. Over to Pack, excuse me. Pack's able to keep it. Pumas finding their feet early on here, feeling comfortable. Do they have the goal in them to take this first half lead? Ceballos Reyes now on the ball. Excuse me, DeLuna. Now Ceballos Reyes. Back towards DeLuna. DeLuna flicks it up. And then Haig out there to take it.
And we knew coming into this game that DeLuna would be the main leader on the field, the problem solver. And we just saw a flash of it there. Can he right now be the one to get his foot on the ball and show his team that they need to calm down? They need to think through it a little bit more than is happening.
First ball knocked down Barojas. Can't find a teammate. Glad now in possession. He's looked the most dangerous player on the field, charging into the box, and his cross is blocked. Simpson now stepping forward. Barojas had to pick his way around our head referee. And with the ball on the ground, it'll be a free kick here for the Rapids, I believe.
Classic dangerous play call, David.
Bobby, what I was going to ask you before is, how unique is this 4-4-2 diamond as well for the Rapids players? How often are they seeing this?
Not that often. I mean, whenever you think of the 4-4-2 diamond in Major League Soccer, you think of the Philadelphia Union, who also often play it out of the academy level. And the main struggle when you play against a diamond is that it always feels like they have numbers around the ball. That whenever there's a second ball in the middle of the field or a combination in the middle of the field, they have 4 when you usually have 2 or 3, so they always have the numerical advantage. So the counter to that is, all right, they often have numbers in the middle of the field. Where can we get our numerical advantage? And that's the thing you have to figure out as you go through the game.
Simpson standing over this one. We saw a dangerous free kick from him from a similar area early in this game.
We see number 56, Carlos DeLuna, free right now. Can he get a run onto this ball?
Simpson curls it into the far post, knocked down, and just wide. It was the center back, Bruce Quinones, coming forward, inches away from the opening goal.
Another fantastic delivery from number 64, Max Simpson. So deft to get it up and down just to the right spot. 2 runners running on, not an easy one. To try and hit that with enough pace to get it past the goalkeeper, slight flick, slight power header, doesn't come off this time.
Flores Bravo winning it back. Can't wrap his foot around that cross. How big is it for the Rapids here to at least know they have this ace up their sleeves that we have been dangerous on every set piece?
They needed that, because I talked about how it felt like they had taken a couple of proverbial punches. They just demonstrated that they can cause some harm too. So when it comes to decisions around the bravery of the moment, do we have the guts to squeeze forward, to put more pressure on them? That's the type of thing that helps, because it feels like you're still in this.
And now you put the pressure on Pumas. You don't want to get called for fouls anywhere in the defending third for them. The turn from De Luna, and it's read by Haig. Well, the Rapids finding their feet late in this first half here as they recover and start to put Pumas under some pressure. Opening day of games, opening game here in Group A. At the U15 level, we will have our opening day of U17 action here at the Generation Adidas Cup coming up tomorrow. Vasquez in space once again. Flips it into the box. Medina goes up and takes it under pressure.
And that was a great example, David, of how starting positions and formations can impact the passing patterns that we see.
Glah now in open space. Amos Glah surrounded by white shirts, and his cross curls into the arms of the keeper.
We're seeing those flashes from Amos Glaw, though. We were told, and we've seen in previous MLS Next games, how talented he is and how special he can be.
And you saw from the moment he picked up the ball, he knew exactly what he wanted to do.
So what we're seeing on these build-outs and why Pumas is so successful is they have the two strikers in the 4-4-2. They are what's called pinning back the Colorado center backs, which leaves more room in the middle of the field where they have 4 players against Colorado's 2. So whether it's a pass, which we just saw, through the middle, or a ball into the second layer, because remember, the strikers are pinning back. They are pushing back Colorado to intentionally create even more space. They are the one that are tactically, in the proverbial chess match, causing Colorado problems that their young players now have to fix.
Pumas, the cross in, Quinones with the clearance.
I realize I've just said proverbial at least twice in the last 5 minutes.
To be honest, Bobby, I don't really know most of what you're talking about.
But once again, we saw Pumas in their build-out, in their progression phases, going through the middle, and then once they go through the middle, breaking out wide to the outside backs. If you were to talk about how to play the 4-4 diamond, Pumas have done a beautiful job so far in these first 28 minutes.
And you talked a little about who steps up, who leads. It feels like Quinones is giving you that right now from the back for the Rapids.
He is. He's the one that stood out, partially in problem solving, but also having to make plays. Sometimes as a center back, as much as you want to be.
Chance here on a turnover. De Luna into the path of Flores Bravo. Flores Bravo now back across. It's blocked down and out for a corner. He was looking for the return pass.
And you have to like that composure, right? How often do we see a striker get down there and they get those big striker eyes, they see the goal and they try and shoot it from a bad angle, when usually if you look at the probabilities of those moments, it's better to play the ball across the goal. So you love to see Flores Bravo picking up his head, having the composure to try and find the pass.
It'll be Simpson here to take this corner kick.
And here we see Simpson with that beautiful left foot and the wind going toward the goal. So you can expect him to bend it and let it hang and have the wind cause extra problems as Pumas, as Hage comes in goal.
Reminder, 30-minute half, so we are entering stoppage time here at Toyota Soccer Center. It'll be Simpson to serve it once again, as Quinones, who got his head to it and just missed an opportunity for a goal minutes ago. Talking to our head official, Wesley Collins here. You can hear the wind coming from behind that Rapids goal.
It also looks like Amos Glaw, who might come out for the short. You wonder if he's going to come out for the short.
Simpson to take it. Driven low, headed, and it'll go back out wide off the head of Flores Bravo.
Why would you go short when you have Simpson's left foot? Drives it just 5 yards off the ground, 5 feet off the ground for 30 yards. Beautiful again.
So it'll be Haig to take this goal kick. So Bobby, as we get the final whistle, take me real quick into Andrew Butler's thoughts for his halftime comments to his Colorado Rapids team.
He has some real problems to solve, but that's fine. That's an opportunity for him as a coach and for these young players, because Pumas dominated the first half through their ideas, through their shape, and through their execution. So it gives the Rapids a chance, and we often see this, David. The protagonist in the first half settles, and it's a chance for the Rapids to find the upper hand.
We've got more action coming up for you in just a moment here from the Generation Adidas Cup.
What the foreign country have done in 1 century, we did it in 10 years.
The great soccer pioneer Lamar Hunt once said, "I get asked this a lot. Why has soccer not succeeded?" My answer is, soccer has succeeded. It is already the fastest growing youth participation sport in the U.S. It has already succeeded at the youth level, no question. Lamar Hunt envisioned early on that youth development would play a vital part in the growth of soccer in the United States. But to measure how far we've come as a soccer nation starts here in Frisco, Texas. The Generation Adidas Cup brings Major League Soccer academies face-to-face against international powerhouses from all over the world. Since the introduction of this tournament, and in the last few years alone, the youth game has gone through a metamorphosis. But what is being done at the youth level to advance the game?
The game, the players, and our coaches.
Through a partnership with the French Football Federation, Major League Soccer began prioritizing the education of coaches in every level, and alongside on-field competition and the development of a player itself, encompassed the three pillars of focus towards advancing the youth game.
We have put in a lot of time and effort on coaching development. So I think that the results of that are starting to happen. The coaches who have gone through the French EFCL, the French Federation course, we're starting to see how that has changed in the way their teams are approaching the game and the way that they're playing. The fact that our clubs now are going younger and younger, bringing in kids at the ages of, in some cases, 11 and 12 years old, it's giving them a little bit of longevity and preparation in the way that they are building a young professional. So they're taking it from a young age, developing their technical skills, developing the tactical awareness of the game, improving their physical conditioning and their mental approach to the game. So I think we're starting to see the results. Every year for the last 3 years, we've seen an improvement of the quality of play, and I think we're seeing it this year, that our clubs are slowly but surely catching up to the international clubs.
We cannot develop better kids if we don't have better teachers. So we have done a lot of work on this subject. The last aspect is the competition aspect. We all know if we want to improve our kids, we need to develop them with more meaningful competition. And the GA Cup is a perfect example of this effort. With in one side, we try to benchmark our players and our coaches against the best team of the world, and Real Madrid is here to highlight that. But it's also, in the other side, the opportunity to create a coaching symposium to try to link both competition and coaching education, and to make sure we have different layers in this process to upgrade and to improve everyone.
We can't afford to have this traditional mentality that we know everything, because the second we think that, we're going to stop growing. So as a nation, and I feel the more curious we are about the game itself, and put the ego to the side, and realize that there's a lot more to learn than what we know, then I think our development's going to have another boost.
In the previous structures that we had, when a player was good in an academy, almost he was the one that was getting the least coaching, because the clubs did not want to lose that player. Now I think we're creating an environment that is full of good players, so therefore those special players now are going to have to push themselves, and that's going to help them to raise the level and become those world superstars. So I have no doubt that in a short period of time, we're going to see very special players. We're starting to see that.
Giovanni Reyna steps to the spot and puts his team ahead in extra time of the Premier Division Championship. Colorado Rapids U15s facing off against Pumas' U15s in the opening day of games at the Generation Adidas Cup U15 level. David Goss and Bobby Warshaw with you from Frisco, Texas. FC Dallas, our host for the week. A really good first half, Bobby. Back and forth between these two teams. Good half chances both ways. And we're about to kick off here our second half.
Pumas, the main protagonist in that half, controlling the run of play, instilling their ideas into the game, largely through their use of an attacking 4-4 diamond that the Colorado Rapids couldn't figure out. The Rapids getting a little bit stretched.
Chance immediately. Vasquez on the ball. Looking to make it 1-0, and he does! The deflected shot, and Austin Vasquez, the star up front for Pumas, gives his team the lead.
And there's not much to say except the Rapids hurting themselves there. Trying to pass off of the kickoff, passing it backward, not connecting, and Pumas instilling their pressure right away, winning it. And how much can you say about that finish? Puts it on his left foot. It looks for the first 3/4 of the traveling, then it's going to go up and wide, but the curl from our perfect vantage point sends it straight into the top corner. Fantastic finish from Austin Vasquez.
And what a start to the second half. Bobby, it felt like the goal was coming for Pumas in the first half as the Rapids look to respond, and De Luna has it knocked away. Gla with the cross.
It's worth pointing out, too, David, how often do we see at every level on a kickoff when a team just plays it long? And the main reason you do that is so that we can't see what just happened. Not that it usually leads to a goal, but so that you can't get pressed and have the opposing team put their pressure and their energy onto you.
And Vasquez now growing in confidence off that goal. The defensive cover coming. A battle in the box and a penalty kick conceded. Joseph Gonzalez coming over to support defensively. And what an electric start to the second half for Pumas.
And it comes from their pressure again, really pinning the Rapids back. You don't often see off-the-ball calls happen like that. The clearance comes. But Joseph Gonzalez throws the player down after it happens, called for the penalty. It's hard when you're the referee not to call that. It's right in front of you. It's a clear throwdown. And really, the referee's hand is forced there that he has to make a decision.
And Gonzalez had made the play he had to make on the ball, as you said. But then as the ball trickled away, as Wesley Collins, our head official, talking to both sides of this battle. So a goal in the opening minute, and now 2 minutes later, Pumas trying to double their lead. Medina in goal. And Medina saves it!
We talked coming into this game how the decision to start Medina in goal was a big one from Andrew Butler, the Rapids U15 coach, and it pays off. He reads the penalty. It wasn't poorly taken. It probably ends up close to the side netting from Vasquez, but Medina reads it the entire way, strong hands, and puts it out for a corner kick.
In a group stage competition with goal difference, goals scored so big. How big could that moment be for the fortunes of these two teams? What a start to this second half.
Now it's up to the Rapids to make sure the worst thing in soccer doesn't happen when you save a PK and give up a goal on the next play.
Pumas coming out on fire in this second half. Can they continue to do damage? Barajas with the ball played in. Medina goes up and takes it. Medina immediately throwing it out into the path of De Luna. De Luna looking for a teammate, and he can't find Gla. And Pumas not taking their foot off the gas either. And for Vasquez, what an up and down 3 minutes. You score the goal, then you have the penalty kick saved.
Even though it was saved, though, David, I don't want to do this thing where we say it wasn't a well-taken penalty kick. He put the ball at a decent weight near the corner. It wasn't poorly taken at all. You probably say 8 out of 10 times that goes in. And hopefully, even though he's young, he recognizes that and his teammates remind him, hey, you did what you were supposed to do. Give Medina credit as the goalkeeper to make a save like that.
Something to pay attention to, keep in the back of your mind. 30-minute half, 60-minute game here at Generation Adidas Cup. If we do end tied, we go straight to penalty kicks for an additional point in the standings. So could Vasquez face off against Medina once again? Pumas is trying to put it out of touching zone, and they do it! They double their lead! What a start to this second half for Pumas as the Liga MX side doubles their lead.
Another fantastic finish. We knew the two strikers would be a problem. This time it's Mario Sanchez. He gets a sniff of goal, he picks up his head, and he just slides it so calm. It almost looked for a second that it didn't have enough power, but the placement is so good, and the fact that he could unbalance Medina on the shot, very well taken by Pumas' Mario Sanchez.
And we saw a lot of this from Pumas, Bobby, around between the 10 and 20th minute of the first half. But then the Rapids got chances. They built going into halftime, and it felt very even at halftime. And Pumas now has rewritten the script.
For the majority of the game, the Pumas, David, I would have said have been the better team. You can't say that they don't deserve to at least lead and maybe a multi-goal lead. The Rapids struggled to adjust. Here they come out in the second half, and they didn't even make Pumas work for these first two. They have a hill to climb, and we'll talk all tournament about what a great opportunity for these kids to overcome adversity, and we are seeing it live. Who's now going to be the one to lift them and say, all right, that's fine, 35 minutes weren't good enough, how can we get it back?
The lessons you learn here, taking to the next level. Of course, Pumas down 3-0 in the first leg in CCL. They came back. They won that series. A team built through the academy. That's what these young players, as you said, learning here to take over throughout their careers. Throw in for Pumas. Quinones, who had a big first half for the Rapids, all the way back to Medina, and you can see the wind and how it'll affect this game coming from behind the Pumas goal across the field, so left to right on your monitors. And already you can see how it's affecting Medina's ability to clear the ball up the field. Ball back to the top of the box. That clearance once again, the wind catching it. Pack trying to find a teammate further upfield. Ceballos Reyes gets called for the foul. Bobby, if you're the Rapids, if you're these players, how do you settle in? How do you recover from what just happened?
Well, if you're a player, you have to recognize, we talked about it in the first game, what will people remember you for? If you were to tie or to win 1-0, it doesn't get remembered by anybody in your first team, by anybody in your club, as much as if you come back from 2-0.
Ball over the top, and it was almost 3.
And if you were to fight back against a club like Pumas, that is what gets remembered. So you hope that these players recognize, yes, nobody wants to be down 2-0, but if I want a Robin Frazier to notice, he sure as heck will notice that I helped my team fight back from 2-0 over 20 minutes.
And one of the things we discuss a lot in the Generation Adidas Cup, the international teams playing against all the MLS teams, is that next gear, that next level. And felt like the Rapids settled in that first half, and now Pumas is showing that they have another gear, and the Rapids players are learning now how to get up to that level.
Yeah, when I work with young players, you often think to yourself, we want to be a waterfall. We want to constantly put pressure. We want to make it feel like they constantly have something coming over them, and you can see that the Rapids have that facing the waterfall effect right now, and they can't get out. Pumas keeps bringing it over and over, and credit to them for it. Their pressing is good. Their passing is good. Their reactions are good. They have been excellent through these 40 minutes so far.
Sanchez putting that one over the crossbar. I am breathless, to say the least, in the open of this second half. 2 goals and a saved penalty kick in the opening 8 minutes here of this second half for Pumas. We saw it in our first game today as Monterrey scored in the opening minute of the second half against TFC, as this one finds its way all the way through the lines. De Luna can't link up with Glah.
And a poor pass there, but you want to point out, too, that we came into this game hearing that Carlos De Luna was the heart and soul of this team, and he's lived up to that. He might not have been as sharp as he is in some other games, but he has certainly been the catalyst. He has been the one that looks like he wants to take the responsibility, and you appreciate that from a young player, and it's been a pleasure to watch through the game so far.
Pumas preparing 2 subs. They made 1 sub at halftime with Diego Contreras coming on in place of Brian Albaron. Contreras here on the ball, playing along the right side of that diamond. Simpson in a battle with him. Rodriguez whiffs on that one. Breaking into the box now. Quinones is over, and he uses his body to win the goal kick. And 2 subs coming here for the Rapids as well. Both teams preparing substitutes. The Rapids players collide there. Medina, his low clearance will find the feet of Glah. Glah off and running now into the path of De Luna. Well defended in the end by Fernando Daniel. So the 2 subs for the Rapids, Robles and Gouven to come on here. This Pumas side, Arturo Williams and Leonardo Hernandez to come on. And that'll be it for De Luna and Flores Bravo. On the flip side for Pumas, Barojas coming off, as does Derek Rojas and Jefferson Barojas, the number 10. Bobby, maybe as impressive player as we've seen so far in this tournament.
Yeah, he's been excellent. And David, we've been doing this long enough where we remember our list of favorite players, the legends of GA Cup, and it feels like Barojas has a chance to break into that list just off this first game.
Saw Valenzuela, Mexican U15 international in the first game with 2 goals. So correction to what I said, it was Flores Bravo and Evan Perez to come off for the Rapids. De Luna still out there. It looks like he's actually been slid up maybe into that center forward position. A chance here for Glah to chase. He's able to get past the goalkeeper, and he puts it in. With the opening goal for the Rapids, and he cuts the lead in half.
What a clever finish from Amos Glah to touch it around the goalkeeper, to look up, keep his head, see the situation, not try and just shoot it, not try and slide it, but to take the touch around. And we had talked about how the Rapids had struggled, but this is why you keep your head. This is why you stay in the game. It just takes one mistake, one opening, especially when you have players like Carlos De Luna and Amos Glah. 2-1.
Game on.
Game on.
Bobby was waiting for that one. Our 1-2 pass not there, as well as it was for the Rapids. And Bobby, we saw in the first half that Glah was a player who, when the game was against them, he understood. He popped up in moments. He's won the ball a few times. And you said it. He took that moment so well.
I'm trying to think of the number of times I've seen that type of finish. With the loop around the goalkeeper, you don't see it often. Just fantastic to see here.
Can the Rapids hold it here, though? Pumas, a free kick coming. We saw how dangerous they were right after the second goal on a set piece from a similar area. Ball curled in. Doesn't beat the first man. And a foul gets called in favor of the Rapids.
To set the scene here, David, for everyone watching out there on YouTube and Twitch, you are joining us. Thank you very much. also around the field, parents, college coaches, right next to us here, the staff of the under-15, under-17 U.S. men's national team coaches, first-team staff from the Colorado Rapids, scouts and agents from teams across the world. It really is fun to see how Generation Adidas Cup brings all these people together.
It is 100%. It's also special because Colorado Rapids will play down the street against FC Dallas in a few hours in MLS, and the Rapids too will play an MLS Next Pro against North Texas SC tomorrow afternoon. And so there really is a robust group of Rapids staff here. Porg Smith, the general manager of the full team, off to our left as well, watching this game. And as you said, this is an opportunity for these young players to put themselves in front of some pretty special eyes for both these sides. Pumas electric to start the second half. A goal in 1 minute. The penalty kick earned and saved, and then a second goal within the first 5 minutes of this half.
On the right side here, there's a player wide open. He had been talking to the coach and flew under the radar.
De Luna's able to get out there and close down on Ocampo. The Rapids go short. Play out of the back. Pack is able to clear it up to Ceballos Reyes, who leaves it for Rodriguez. And Gla now running into space. Gla 1v1, trying to get into the box. Gets the shot away, saved by Haig. Maybe, even with the goal, the best moment of the game from the Rapids.
Fantastic from the Colorado Rapids, building out, connecting through the middle, building one of their patterns, and it leads to an opportunity. A great save for Pumas from Haig.
5 minutes into this half, it felt this game was over, and now the Rapids pouring on the pressure. De Luna standing over this corner kick. And the Rapids claw their way all the way back here after trailing 2-0 in this second half. De Luna with the left foot to the far post. It goes over everyone's head, only as far as Simpson. And Simpson get a second ball in, surrounded by white shirts. The low cross from Gouvet. Pumas able to recover and knock it back out as Pumas prepare their next sub. These two teams, they're allowed 7 substitutes in the game in 3 moments in this second half. Pumas preparing to use their second moment. Ball chested down from Sanchez to Vasquez. De Luna challenging there with Ocampo. The throw-in will be in favor of the Rapids. Carlos Noya, the head coach for Pumas, making this substitution. Bobby, how does he now settle his team after it looked like he pushed all the right buttons?
It's a great question.
It's
the ultimate question is, how do you settle a team down that's now taking a counterpunch? He's opting to make what looks like an attacking substitution to become the aggressor again.
So he's bringing on a new right back, and it looks like De Luna coming off, and he will slide Ocampo into center back.
And when I say attacking, I mean to bring on what is a little bit more of an attacking player from a defensive position. You now put your right back into the center back, somebody who's a little better on the ball, bring on fresh legs at right back. It gives you a chance to get on the ball more and be the aggressor, opposed to reacting and being more defensive in this moment.
And that's how we saw, you talked about the word control in the first half, as Medina comes out and tries to play a pass into Bobby's feet. You talked about control. Pumas controlled the game with their possession, with their tempo. They came out in the second half, didn't play that way. It got them the goals, but now it seems they've lost control.
And they've lost their energy as well. I love the fact that you use that point, because to have control of the game, you really need to be the one to respond faster, to get to those second balls faster, which they had done from the first minute. So the main thing for them is, okay, we've demonstrated that we have the better ideas in this game, that we're a little tighter. How can we regain the energy? That'll be the key word for them.
Ball sprayed out wide from Ramirez.
Just one little detail that looks a little bit different after that Rapids goal, David, is the presence of just simple things like full accelerations and full sprints. That when the Rapids were pressing before, they were gliding or striding forward to close the ball, and you can see from the elbow swings, from the way their head looks. And I know there's small little details, but the difference between a full sprint and what was just striding before, and the Rapids are hitting a higher gear.
Space here, Gla. Back out to Ceballos Reyes. Reyes able to get by the defender. Right on top of it is Wesley Collins, our head official, and a free kick coming. And a free kick here, but that was a dangerous moment that the defender was able to kill.
It was very well done by Ceballos Reyes. It felt like even watching, the cross is coming in, fakes it, chops back, takes the foul, and really, if you're Pumas, you take the stoppage right there. They're happy with the foul being called.
And the goal is obviously huge, but the presence of Gla up top seems to have changed everything for the Rapids.
It does. And we talk about the speed of things. When you have a player with his energy and his pace, to be the first thing that you see the speed with which he transitions, the speed with which he presses, it forces you to do a little bit faster. And that doesn't take anything away from the other options. It's just what they needed in this moment was a person to set the tone with pace.
Not Max Simpson standing over this free kick, which might give you an indication if you're asking shot or cross on this one for the Rapids, as we do have a yellow card shown now.
It is a wonder if he's going to try and be an option for a short play that he's on the end of.
So Campo does pick up the yellow card for his slide. So Collins, an active second half. He had the penalty kick that he awarded, and now Simpson does come over. And will push his teammate off of this one, and it's his left foot. And you have to think up for a lefty. It's a pretty good shooting opportunity to the near post. It's a 5-man wall set up. Max Simpson, the leading goal scorer over the course of the year for the Colorado Rapids. Simpson hits the top of the wall. Pack with the second ball in, and it goes wide.
If you're Pumas here, David, and you're taking a little bit, do you try and build out, or do you play second layer and relieve the pressure?
I think you want to try and build out, right? Change the tempo back to what you had. Also, what we've seen in this game, if I'm wrong, is you have the wind behind you. You can always play long if you need to. Contreras now into space. And why not? Pumas going end to end here. Maddox Brown with the interception. Sanchez playing it off, and Ramirez with the drive. The ball played in, it goes all the way through for Pumas.
David, I wouldn't say that they did not play out there. It was still an intentional moment. They just had an obvious long pass that they hit. And again, we see how their diamond has caused the Rapids problems finding numerical advantages.
Only one game in, so Bobby's still being nice to me, bringing me that little half victory. We already saw it. Monterrey Rayados beat TFC's U15s 2-0 in our opening game. We've got another game coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern time here on Twitch and on MLS YouTube. LAFC's U15s, one of the best teams in this group, in this class, facing off against the Giants of Chivas from Guadalajara. And then the nightcap, the second half of this Group A, the New York Red Bulls U15s facing off against River Plate from Buenos Aires. So a ton of action still to come. And those two teams will have an eye on what's going on here to see how this group develops. It looked like early in this second half, Pumas was going to run away with it. The Rapids have now closed things down. Can they get all the way back from that 2-0 deficit? Brown stepping forward to win that one. And a throw in for his team. Substitute here for the Rapids. Coming on is Noah Strelmauer, number 65. And Max Simpson's afternoon is done. As Strelmauer steps in for him. Bobby, what'd you make of what you saw from Max Simpson?
You can see the moments of quality. You can understand why the Rapids are so high on him. When he gets on the ball, that left foot is always a threat, but didn't get as involved in the game, didn't make his mark as much as the Rapids needed. He was going to have to be one of the key players. But as we keep going back to, Pumas have so many numbers in the middle of the field that it's hard for the Rapids in there right now.
This is what the Generation Adidas Cup is all about. The top competition at the U15 and U17 level in North America. The best teams in the world. I'm going to play here. AS Roma, Manchester United, River Plate, along with these MLS teams and Liga MX teams. And an opportunity to test yourself against the best. And this is why, as Pumas now taking their time, trying to take the wind out of the Rapids' sails a little bit.
Interesting setting from Pumas. Really a line as if it's a basketball out of balance play. Starting at the PK spot. Shoulder width apart. See who goes near, who goes far.
Carlos Noya, the head coach, has been active on these set pieces. This one doesn't make it all the way in. It's headed away at the near post. The wind doing a little bit of magic with that one. Williams has it knocked away. Pumas controlled much of the first half. Now trying to hang on here to a 2-goal second half performance. Gla putting the pressure on. Chasing along the front line. Amos Gla, one of the newest pieces in the Rapids Academy, and one they have to be very excited about after his performance in this game. And as they told us coming into this tournament, they were excited to see him at this level. Throwing coming. 4 minutes left in regular time here in this second half. Opening game of the group. The top teams in every group will move into the knockout stages. That's what there is to play for. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, 2 points for a penalty kick win. If you do tie, the offside flag goes up against Gla, returning from that offside position. Correction to this Group A, as we have LAFC against Leon coming up in our next game. Of course, here on Twitch and on the MLS YouTube page. For Pumas, I mean, the DNA of this team, different than what we saw from Monterrey in the last game, which was knowing how to win. This team playing their soccer throughout.
I was just thinking that a major theme of Generation Adidas Cup is the ability for all of the players from all of the countries.
As Medina makes a huge save. Williams with the volley. And the clearance out for a throw-in.
And the ability to play teams from different countries. And here we've already seen in our first 2 games of the day, even teams within Mexico playing different, putting their own ideas onto the game. Monterrey a little bit more reactive, more based on their shape, trying to hit Toronto FC in transition. And here Pumas being the protagonist really the entire game, pressing, using the ball, putting their ideas onto Colorado and saying, hey, solve this, figure this one out.
And even you can say the difference between TFC and Colorado and the way they play as well. And that's what's so exciting about these games for these young teams. They're getting challenged incredibly well in MLS Next right now. The new development setup in the U.S., playing great teams week in and week out, and adding that different sprinkle here in this international competition. Moments here. Switch. Doesn't find the feet of a teammate. Sanchez with the turn. Right now, he's sitting on the winning goal. Contreras stepping in. What a strike! What a goal from Diego Contreras, the second half substitute. He buries it into the top corner and seals the 3 points for Pumas.
The outside of the foot swerver. Part toe, part laces, bangs it into the top corner. So good, so good from Contreras.
And Bobby, that's not a goal.
That's a goal.
That's a golazo. What a moment from Contreras. Already we have seen some unbelievable goals in this competition.
Give credit. We do both love that when that's not a goal line. Give the credit where it's due there.
I just can't do it. Contreras, the lone sub at halftime, Bobby, and it works out for Coach Carlos Noya. He has pushed a few buttons in this game, and they have all worked.
The finish from Contreras there, just beautiful to watch. Striding onto it. It looks like it's too far away from him. And one thing that's always fun to see from a good attacker is how they figure out their shot selection. Is this one where I go near post, go far post, with my laces, with my outside of the foot? And he picked exactly right there. In his stride, hits it with the top right corner of his foot. What is really probably mostly toe, partially laces, to get some outside of the foot swerve into the corner. Just a spectacular finish to see.
The Rapids continuing to fight, though. Every goal, every minute counts in this group stage competition. Big set piece coming up as we have entered stoppage time. Free kick coming. Can the Rapids get another goal back in this one? It's DeLuna standing over it. He's got 5 goals on this season. The talisman for this Rapids U15 group. DeLuna's left-footed service to the far post. Hangs up there. Knocked down. Second chance. The bite kick's headed away. What an idea from the center back, Quinones.
Another excellent delivery from the Rapids, this time from Carlos DeLuna. Really felt like an alley-oop to the far post. Quinones gets on the end of it. Back across. A great attempt.
We have entered stoppage time here. The Rapids trying to claw a goal back. DeLuna. His left-footed service in again. Headed away. And Wesley Collins blows the whistle. Bobby, what a second half we have seen. 4 goals, a penalty kick save. What a performance from these two teams.
And this is what you want to see from these young players. Come out in your first game and show your energy, show your personality. Enjoy it. Yes, you are here in a professional pathway, but it's still a fantastic experience for you as a young person to show what you have to offer and to enjoy. And that's what we've seen. Big plays from multiple people demonstrating what they can offer.
We came in ready to watch Austin Vasquez up top. He opened the scoring in the first minute of the second half. Had a penalty kick save 2 minutes after that. His partner Mario Sanchez with the second goal right after that. In the opening 5 minutes, we felt maybe it was done. Maybe Pumas had secured the 3 points. Amos Gla pulls the Rapids back into it with a solo effort goal. The Rapids start to push. They put Pumas under pressure, and Contreras with the exclamation point to the victory. What a performance for Pumas. They move into first place in Group A action, but we've got the second game in Group A coming up tonight as Red Bull will play versus River Plate. Stick with us all week here as we've got games coming up for you here at the Generation Adidas Cup.